Here we go. Well, folks, welcome to the Go for Diamond webinar. And I'm just going to change the view to go into speaker view. And we're going to go full screen to have a full spectrum. I think this way it'll be a bit better. Okay, wonderful. So welcome to the Go for Diamond webinar. And this evening is a very, very important call. Tammy and I want to talk about two very important events and also summarize a training that Eric did last week, I believe it was last Wednesday, to give you an insight and a little bit of what is to come to this GoPro 7-day challenge. And often, as you probably noticed, the event, the name of the title of this event is events are like rocket fuel for your business. I have been saying that for years. Would you agree, Tammy?
Yeah, absolutely.
And the reason we've been
It
saying
really is.
absolutely, and the reason we've been saying that is just to go back to beginning. And I know some of you have heard this before, but there's always folks that are listening or they might be on Facebook Live. They haven't heard this. But when Demi and I started network marketing, kind of about the same time, you might have a year or two difference, at the beginning. But the point is, when I started this this company, this business, I remember I had to go to the United States, obviously being Canadian. Events were in the United States. We had to spend US dollars and so forth. I was procrastinating and really say, I don't know if I'm ready. I think I should be bigger. I think I should make more money, blah, blah, blah. And I mean, we're talking decades ago. And my upline convinced me that I should really be there. I should be part of this. And I did. And I came back and I was really stimulated, not hyped, stimulated. And that is when, for me, everything has begun. And I never forgotten that. And the second year, not being new and all, same challenges, but obviously my posture was not as strong. We had 6 people. And then we came back, and the year after, we had 500 people. These are people that were from our organization. And then there were 1,200. And as Tammy stated on our call today, we had about 450 people on our call with the other Crown and Diamonds. These are people that most of them have been, that we've been mentoring, Tammy and I, and they all have become giants in the industry right now. And looking at our back office, because I don't look at that number, it's just not something that we spend a lot of time doing. To my surprise, we had something like 330,000 associates in our business around the globe, right? In many cases, we don't speak the language. This is the power of network marketing. And often people tend to look at this industry from a very small point of view and with a very little understanding of the potential financially. And not just the potential financially, but the potential that we have to really create a better environment in people's lives when it comes to their well-being, understanding what glutathione is. So when you combine all of that, and you really get to understand the power, and then you go into events like we're going to be talking about this evening, what happens is there's a flame that will start and it will grow, and eventually it'll be like a rocket ship. It just explodes. Words didn't want to come to me, right? It just explodes, and then you become passionate. You become a different person. And often this is why sometimes the person who's never been exposed to this kind of information, they listen to a guy or a girl or a lady or a gentleman with excitement, and they're wondering what the heck is wrong with this person. Like where have they been, right? And this often to be able to get that sensation, you have to be part of the culture of events. And this is why this event that is coming in starting this coming Wednesday, and obviously, and we'll talk about the one that's in December. The one in Wednesday is free, and these kind of mentoring program, they don't come cheap. Tammy and I have spent thousands of dollars. I mean, I could go, when you include the hotels and the planes and, for years, I mean, hundreds of thousands. I'm not exaggerating a little bit here. In fact, I'm being very conservative. I'm not saying you need to do that. It's just over the years, this is what has happened. It's one of the reasons why our belief is so far beyond what most people have, is because what we've been exposed to. And because of the COVID-19, as irritating and negative it may sound, it created an environment that now we have to come to you. The speakers have to come to you. And because it's still not something that's embedded in people's habit and culture, it's not easy to get hundreds of thousands of people to attend an event. So he organized an event called the GoPro 7-Day Challenge, recruiting challenge. Okay, the 7-Day GoPro recruiting challenge. And this is free. And then you're going to have people like Sylvester Stallone and many, many others that, not that Sylvester is a network marketer, but here's an actor, Rocky Balboa, right? We all know him. We grew up in the 80s watching him, right? We was inspired by him. So, I mean, this is the kind of people that are starting to attract. They're recognizing how many people are involved. And Eric is probably the only person that I know of that's successfully creating an environment to collectively create a collaboration among multimillionaires from all over the planet to share with you. There's no price tag for something like that.
Yeah, John C. Maxwell will also be there speaking. You have Les Brown. I mean, this guy is a legend in our profession in network marketing. He's made millions and millions of dollars. And the key is to surround yourself with people who are successful and find out what it is that they're doing. And, Chris and I are still learning from, especially the younger generation. They just have a faster way of connecting with people. So it's interesting to get on these sessions and to listen to the different age groups and what they're up to in creating momentum within their organizations. But it's interesting because they all talk about one important thing is that is to constantly work on your mindset and constantly be consistent in your efforts every single day in building your business. And if you're not consistent, you end up starting all over again. And all of us have been down that route where we're up and down and up and down in this business. I know Chris and I were when we were first started building network marketing. And then once we started to get into momentum, we made that decision. We were going to be consistent. We call ourselves the little shots and keep shooting. And we do the activities every single day. We don't have to do superstar activities anymore. Although I love to, because it's fun and it's challenging and it's nice to do these 7-day segments because it's not that over empowering. It's not like you have to do a 30-day or a 90-day. So it's really exciting. So we're pretty pumped about all of this. We're excited about what we're all going to create together, finishing up 2020 very, very, very strong. So join the session, get registered, listen to everybody, and apply what you learn in these segments of the 7-day challenge in recruiting.
Now, and if I'm distracted here, don't look at this as not paying attention. Is I'm multitasking, making sure that you get the right material that you need. One of the things that I would suggest for you to do is that if you have not been on the call this afternoon, let's see if this is going to work. Yes. I just posted a link here on the chat portion of your presentation on the webinar tool Zoom, on the chat portion itself. When you click on this link, I don't suggest you do it now, but it will take you to the session that we did this afternoon. It was over 450 people, as the call was taking place. It started with 98, et cetera. And I'm saying this so you don't think, oh, there's only 90 people. It's just that it grew over the hour. And there were some really good points that were shared from different crown diamonds and a triple diamond from the Philippines, a couple, Gwen and Joe Guanamore, which we invited here a few weeks back. And again, it gives you another perspective from the different market, Nigerian market, the Ghanaian market. And did a great information. Tammy and I shared on that too. And that will also give you kind of another perspective of, the point of views as to why this event is important to attend. Now, the next one here, the next link I'm going to be posting here, this one there, this is to register for the free event. Now, when you click on that link, that's the one that says virtualgopro.com/max. Okay. Whatever upsell that it does, I think there's a $49 charge there. This is not something you need to accept. You can respectfully decline and move forward. Okay. It is just extra training that Eric has done in the past to give you a head start on materials that you'll find at Tammy and I. A lot of the stuff that we've been teaching and your leadership have been teaching is there, but it's well organized. And again, it's but you do not need to buy that to go through the program. Okay, because sometimes people see this and they stop thinking, oh, I have to pay. No. It's a free event, and you want to be part of that. Now, this event starts on Wednesday at 11 o'clock Pacific time, which is 2 o'clock Eastern time. Okay. If you go to Active Team Calendar, when you go to activeteamgroup.com, select calendar, you'll notice on Wednesday, I just posted the event there, and I'll keep doing that to help everybody orient themselves, because I know sometimes things could be a little bit complicated and confusing looking at all the events that are going on. Okay. And when you do register, well, Eric will start sending you emails of the next call, the next event, and so forth. So I really, really, really recommend for you to connect. But here's the thing. If you show up alone, you will definitely learn. But if you show up with your team, you will learn and you will earn. And that is something that I have learned over the years. You remember when I was sharing with you when we started, Tammy and I, there was only 6 people. I think Tammy were one of the 6 that we went together. So really there was 5. And I think Mary Paul, you might have been there.
Paul was there.
Mary Paul was there, right? That's how far this goes back. And so make a long story short, what has happened is these kind of events has helped us understand the real power. And this is how our team grew. If I never would have attended an event, I don't think I'd be where I am today. This is how important events are. So I really hope that you take this seriously, and not just you, but make sure you pass this on to downlines, even prospects of yours that might be skeptical of the industry. Listen to these people from all different age group sharing their experiences and their level of success on the things that they've done. And you will find that what they said they did is not all that different, or maybe you can even do better. But it's the belief and the attitude that they had when they did it that made the difference. What are your points on that, Tammy?
Absolutely. As I was just listening to the session today, there was a gentleman called John Hermas, and he's been in the industry for 32 years. And, he says that this business is a personal development program with a compensation plan attached to it. And he's made millions and millions and millions of dollars over the 32 years. And he does about $3 million a year. And he's absolutely right. It's all about growing personally, building that mindset and that posture that it is possible and you can do it, and follow the simple steps on building this business model and serve more than you take, and you will get some tremendous results in this. And keep in mind, you got to learn skills along the way. And as we always say, what you lack in skills, you make up in numbers. And I remember making up those numbers when we first started this industry. I did a lot of numbers, but now it's a whole lot easier. Why? Because Chris and I have practiced for many years on connecting with people. And when you're authentic and you genuinely care about people, so simple. It really does. And we all know on this session how important and how powerful our product are. And that's what has made us, our company, so significant. And we've built such a powerful organization worldwide, attracting a lot of professionals because of the science and what we have as obviously products.
And you know, sometimes I can appreciate from the point of view of maybe some of you, maybe not, maybe so. It may seem like, oh, you guys, you know, you were there right at the beginning and you're lucky and all of this stuff. Tammy and I have a pretty extensive story. Many of you are aware. I know Maripol is aware of pretty much everything. So you can cross-reference a lot of the things. And we also wrote a book on that. And why am I sharing this with you is the difference between the level of success that some of us wants to reach and some of us are unable to reach. The biggest one, I think, is commitment. That is probably the biggest challenge I can see with most people. It's not lack of skills. Often it's not even a lack of effort, but it's the commitment to stay the course. I know that many of you have heard Tammy and I say that often for years now. In fact, it's kind of the mantra that I'm known for right now in Africa, because every time we go, stay the course, stay the course, stay the course, stay the course. And it's really interesting that eventually, sooner or later, something will happen if you stay the course. One of the things I'd like to do is talk about, as I stated, the summary of the training that Eric did. It was for about 90 minutes, but I'm going to summarize that probably in about 20 minutes. Okay. And what he did is, over and above him sharing, which I'll share his 10 strategies, but prior to that, he had some guest speakers sharing. And I apologize, I didn't get their last name. Sometimes they go fast and I get the first name and I take the notes because obviously they're speaking quickly. I was trying to take the notes in real time. And the first one was called Whitney. And Whitney, you know, she was talking about building your lists. And the process of building your list is, who do you know in different cities, states, in different countries? Now, there was obviously more details when she was sharing, but if you go to, for example, activeteamtraining.com, activeteamtraining.com, by the way, Tammy, are updating every videos as we move forward. We just updated the very first video called Success Cycle. So when you go to activeteamtraining.com, start with the success cycle, because I'm telling you, that is a summary that envelopes all the trainings. And within that, you'll notice one of them is called Build Your Lists. And in there, you will find everything you need to know, different ideas on how to build your list. And this is your inventory. I cannot stress that enough. One of the things that you may want to do if you're new in this business, or maybe you've been around, and we'll talk about a few ideas later on with Eric's strategies here, but start reflecting on the people you know in the different cities, provinces, or states, in countries. But when I say countries, please do keep in mind, work within the frame of where Max is operating. Everybody wants to open new markets, and we don't want to discourage that. But if you're looking for an income today, opening new markets, it's not going to happen today. And it's a long process and it's not guaranteed. But when you have an operating country already, you know that when they enrolled, they will receive their packages and everything is in place. So that's why I wanted to comment on that for the idea of different countries, and start writing down their names. Don't start discriminating. Don't start talking nonsense that, oh, this person is rich, this person is healthy, or this person doesn't care about their health. Don't make the decisions for them. That's another biggie that we see, Tammy and I see regularly. Don't make the decision for someone else. Put them on your lists. Very important. After that, Brian talks about exposure is everything. What is the number one thing we should focus on every day? And he talks about is your list. So building your list and adding to your list, this is a daily activity that you have to do. I know Tammy is really good at that. Maybe Tammy, you can give some few examples on how you come across people.
I just create simple disciplines every day. I have a ton of contacts in my cell phone. I've got major lists over the years, but social media is such a powerful platform. And I never really took advantage of it until this year, like really took advantage of connecting with a lot of people. I mainly do Facebook and LinkedIn, and I like to get people off the platform as quick as Zoom chat to see fit, to see if we even connect. Because at the end of the day, you want to be able to connect with the people, and you're building a relationship. A trust will be formed through the process, and you'll know whether it's somebody you'd want to work with. You know, one of the greatest things about network marketing is you get to choose the people you work with. And so I do this on a regular basis, and consistency is the key. Consistency always wins the race, and don't overwhelm yourself. If you know you're going to put an hour into your max time, you want to make that very, very productive hour. You don't want to, be scrolling through. This is something that I don't spend my time doing. I'm on social media for one reason. I want to get to know people. I want to get them off the platform as quick as possible. And I want to build a relationship. So I'm not checking out videos and doing all this stuff. So these are the things that you'll want to be doing if you're tapping into the social media platform.
Now, on that note, moving on to social media, which is perfect, Tanya, because you get to my next point, is Jesse Lee. Talk about posting. People need to know who you are. Now, you probably noticed a few posts. I know Tammy did it recently. I didn't do mine yet. Is you take a little selfie with a three, right? You have your phone. You got your phone here. You do your selfie, and you do a number three like this. Maybe don't cover your face, but okay. And once you've done that, then you simply post the question on the message, the post section. And what are the three things you think when you think about me? Something like that, right? You may want to word it in a way that you feel comfortable wording it, but what are the three things that comes to mind when you think of me, right? Now, I know you got to be brave to do that, because some people may tell you some things that you don't want to hear, but you know what? Generally, people are kind. They are, right? And then people will start, commenting, and will tell you what are those three things. And what happens is that and that's what she's saying, is that she posts on a regular basis every single day. Some people post a lot. It depends on different personality, right? But the fact is, the people within their circle will get to know them. And when people get to know you, it tends to be easier for them to want to do business with you. And that's what
it's important to reply when people connect to you on that platform, because you don't want to just post and not do anything. It's all about engagement, right? So for example, when I did mine, was it yesterday, Chris? I forget. Yeah, it was yesterday. And I've already got 3 meetings set up. Old friends connected with me. It was really, really great. And some associates who have been consuming but not really active building also responded, and got them off the platform to book meetings to see if they're open to re-engage. So it's important to post, but also very important engage on the posts that they're doing. And remember this: get them off the platform as quick as possible and build a nice friendship relationship, and find out where they're at in their lives, because guaranteed something's going on in their lives where they're looking for opportunity, they're looking to make money, they're looking for better health, for sure.
Folks, and this is something, and we're all guilty of. I mean, I built my business, and really within the 80s and the 90s, and with the cassettes, and after that the CDs and the business cards, and I mean, all of this stuff is irrelevant, right? Everything is digitized, everything is social media and everything else. And I was looking at my friends, people that connect with you, and this is how bad I have been. I had over 2,000 requests that I've never looked at. And every day I do an extra 10 or 20, and it takes a long time. And I'm down to 800, right? Now I'm careful. I don't accept everybody because some are just poachers and they're going to try to dig into and start spamming your own people. I don't want any of these things. So what I do is before I accept them, and that's the reason why they accumulate so much, is I let it go and let it go, let it go. And as Tammy were traveling the world, we got to get known a little bit, but I never went back. And it's very important that you pay attention to people that want to be friends with you, right? 2,000 requests that I never, some of them are 2 years old and never answered, and I say, oh yeah, and then they say that's been 2 years ago, right? So, but that is an opportunity to build a relationship with people that honestly I haven't tapped into, right? 2,000 requests. So, but again, just look through what they're doing. I check their profile, who they're following, and it takes about, I don't know, maybe 15 seconds each, a minute, 2 minutes. It depends on how fast the computer goes. It's just little things that we don't think about. If someone wants to be friends with you, obviously they're interested in knocking at your door. Open the door, and that's when you can start exchanging and get to know people. So let me step into the 10 strategies that Eric and Tammy and I will go back and forth here was sharing as we go through the process of this call here. One of the first 10 strategies, and that is something that's absolutely critical. For example, earlier, Tammy and I were talking about the success cycle, right? And the first thing we start is the new associate orientation. Why? Because these are the money-making activities. How do you enroll? How do you get in your back office? What products should you duplicate and all of these things, right? So these are the new associate orientation. And Tammy and I are revamping on that. And by the way, Jasmine, putting you on the spot, I know that Tammy sent you a copy because you have perfect English. And we want to make sure that the literature in English is good and not having a French guy writing stuff in English there, right? So that's the reason we need your feedback. We're waiting on that to make sure to make it public. And when you go to activeteamgroup.com or activeteam.com, once you register your email, immediately you get a welcome letter. In that welcome letter, you will receive a link to that new associate orientation. It's just going to be updated. And that's how you duplicate your business, by making sure that people are aware of that. But the very first thing after that is your goals. Why? Why are you doing this business? Thank you, Jess. Why are you doing this business? This is critical, because why you're doing this business could be the reason why someone else might be also interested in doing the business. It will also be the foundation that will keep you going when things get a little bit rough or discouraging. And understanding, why am I doing this? Very important. And that's what Eric talks about, is setting goals, right? Now, in this case, what he meant is the challenge that is coming in on Wednesday, set your goals for the next 7 days. What is it that you want to achieve? What is it that you want? I'm telling you, there's going to be some phenomenal ideas if you do participate that will trigger some thoughts and ideas for you to go forward in building your business. The number one is make a commitment. Commit to the 7 days. Commit to the decision you made and be part of this opportunity. And again, I'm summarizing here. Number 3 is map out the game plan to get people to engage. The success cycle that we've laid out for you, that's the game plan. It walks you through the ABCs, everything you need to know, everything. Often I like to use the example of gravity, that we talk about 1,000 years ago or today. Gravity has not changed. If you drop the ball or a rock 1,000 years ago from a cliff, and you drop the rock from the same cliff, I assure you the rock will go down at the exact same speed. Gravity does not change. These are constants. That's what the success cycle is all about. This is not stuff that Tammy and I created. This is stuff that we've learned from past encounters that you're going to hear throughout the 7 days. And we recommend for you to listen to these trainings because it will reaffirm and re-solidify the information that's being laid out that's going to build your confidence and moving forward, right? Do you have any points, Tammy, you want to add as I continue?
No, I think it's important to, you want to sacrifice some things. You want to give up some things so that you can have a focus on those 7 days. You have that down for number 4, Chris. I mean, a lot of people waste a lot of time in their day, and often the day goes by so fast you don't realize it because you didn't map out your day on what you want to achieve. And I love the hour power of building a business. You sit down, you choose that hour, and you do one thing for 1 hour and just consistently do that. So, because it is a 7-day challenge of prospecting, inviting, following up, and introducing people to join your business. These are the activities that you want to be doing in that 7 days. And if you're a person who watches TV, whether it's series or whatever it is, you might want to put that on hold. Different things. For example, I decided I'm going to take this really serious, and I meal planned so that we'd have everything prepared going into this session, because I don't want to be in the kitchen cooking when I can be spending that hour doing whatever it takes to create some new momentum going into the new year. So think about all the things that you'd be willing to give up and sacrifice for 7 days, only 7 days, for you to get some momentum into your Max business.
I totally agree. And number 5 is, and Tammy and I will go back and forth. Number 5 is negotiate with your loved ones. This is really, really important, because your kids or grandkids or significant other, whoever that is, may get a little bit irritated by the fact that you don't have the same amount of time to cuddle in front of the TV with them to watch whatever Tammy said series that you might be accustomed to watching at a certain time. And I'm not saying that has to be done. At the end of the day, sacrifices have to be made. These 7 days that you will commit and concentrate in your efforts could completely change your life. It's really interesting, but often I look back and I think at the moment that got me connected with this person that led me to open Africa. I think of that. And that was one day I did not feel like doing the business. I did not feel like answering this phone call, and I did. And if I passed it, who knows what would have happened today? That's one moment that has defined, millions of dollars that have been passed on. Of course, there's things that have been constructed over and above all of that. But you see, there are moments in your life. And sometimes we think that you have to hustle forever. No, absolutely not. It's a concentration of time or effort in a moment of time that could completely change your life. This is what we're saying here. So you may
when you don't feel like doing it, this is a really great message, because it also happened to Chris in our previous company as well. He was doing his dials in the evening, and he didn't feel like doing anymore, and he decided he was going to do, I think you said 2 more.
Yeah, 2 more.
Which connected to a contact in the States, which connected to open up Mexico. So the message is, when you don't feel like doing it, do a few more, because usually those are the ones you were supposed to get the result. So yeah, every time I remember Chris's old story, this is what I'll do. I will do the extra mile.
So that number 6 is making time commitment for the next at least 7 days. Right? Very, very important. Make the commitment, folks. I'm telling you, it is worth it. This business is bigger than you can ever imagine. And that is the biggest downfall, is people do not take this business seriously. They take it as a sidetrack, kind of part-time thing. This is huge, massive. People need what we have, especially today more than ever. Very important. Number 7 is clear your deck of all distractions. One of the challenge working from home is the fridge is closed, the TV's closed, your cell phone, there's nobody around you. Today, you can watch in real time, Primes, Netflix and Cave and whatever else there's so many different programs, Disney Plus. I mean, it's just, they want to keep you in front of their TV, right? Because the more membership they have, the more their sales grease, increase, the more profit they become and the more rich they become. But you have to also measure your time. And this is very, very, very important. So clear of all distractions, very important. That's why negotiating with your loved ones might be critical. And if you have a strong why that you can share with your family, that you're thinking about going on a trip in 2021 when things go back to normal. You're maybe looking into getting a new car. Maybe you're looking into buying a cottage, buying a boat. I mean, who knows, right? And the person that lives with you could turn around and be very stimulated by this thing that they didn't think was possible based on the current situation. Do you understand? So that's how the negotiation could go through, and it could really help you clear the distractions, because people will want you to, that love you, to give you the time to achieve these goals so they can all live a better life. Number 8 is make sure that you are prepared with the tools, products, samples, having this tool Zoom. I mean, it's free up to, I think, 45 minutes. I think you can have up to 5 or 10 people, regardless of the details. And it's really not expensive to have a tool like this. It's a lot cheaper than most people spend on coffees. This is for a month's supply, and I bet you spend a lot more than that in coffee in 1 month, especially if you have a habit of buying coffee regularly. So the point here is these are powerful tools. You need to equip yourself and prepare yourself. We have every single files that you need for presentation to do a good presentation. We even have trainings on how to do one-on-ones. You just need to do your homework and get the information. You continue, Tammy. I was at the number 8.
And number 9 is to build your list. So you want to create your warm list, your hot list, which is really close people in your life, family members, great friends. So create your list and categorize it. And also, I like to categorize it on the, how driven they are in general. And then I like to go for the people who would really do this first. I know when I was new in the business, those were my chicken lists, and I was afraid of that. But when you get experience, it becomes easier. But here's what I've learned over the years. Your chicken list, they're just people, just like you and I, and they have drives, they have, they want more in life. So have communication with every single person you write on that list, and just your goal is to find out where they're at in their life right now, and to see if they're open and if they're looking at anything, if they're looking for something. And often the big question is, what do you do? What do you have? And the key is to send them a link, and we use the maxlook.info. And that will qualify them to 2 simple videos that'll qualify them. And also, it's good to, in that conversation, to share some stories of what this company's done for you, what the product has done for you. And from there, I set up my Zoom chats. And in the Zoom chats, we answer questions, of course, and see if they want to move further. And we just do this every single day, a commitment every single day. If you have a couple Zoom meetings set up every single day after qualifying people, you'll do really well going into momentum. If you can do more, great.
Here's a few tips that I think Eric invited someone to share when he was at that point on making your list. And your phone lists. I mean, most of you have probably over 1,000 names on your phone. And you're probably having called them in fear of, I don't know, offending them, whatever it is, the story you might have told yourself as to why you're not calling them. But honestly, go through that list. Just do it tonight or tomorrow if you're too tired tonight. And go through the list and see who might be open to hear about a product, especially in our time today, knowing what we have to offer. And the initial call does not have to be about the product. In fact, I don't recommend it. Some of those people you maybe haven't spoken to for years, just connect. Hi, how are you? How's the family? How old are your kids now? Create an interest to continue and to build that relationship. The second thing is your email list. I mean, there's thousands. It's crazy what we accumulate over the years. Go through that. You don't have to go far. Just go through that. The other one is every single person in your social environment. Think of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn. There might be thousands of people there. So again, you don't need to look for. And some of you have great people skills, great communication skills, and you're sitting on that. Start from that in those 7 days. For the next 7 days, commit with what you are surrounded by every day. You just need to take the action of making this call. And we'll speak to each other, a week from now, from Wednesday. And I bet you some of you are going to bring some amazing people into your business, and boom, business will come back faster than you could ever realize, especially as a whole. Now, the other thing is very important here before we continue, we go and I finish with the last point, is how many of you here on the call have registered for the free virtual, the free GoPro recruiting.
7-day recruiting challenge.
The free 7 days. Sorry, I'm confused with the two events.
Just put a Y for yes if you've already registered.
Just go ahead. If you have registered, put a Y. If you have not registered, put a no. That's fine. Beautiful, beautiful, excellent, excellent. Okay, beautiful. Okay, and I appreciate your honesty. For those of you that said no on the privately, I really, really recommend you register. Take the time to register and learn from that. It's amazing what could transpire from that action. Now, number 10, and thank you for responding, everybody. I appreciate that. Number 10, imagine this done. The one thing that Eric meant from here is start with the end in mind. And Stephen Covey talked about this. John C. Maxwell talks about this. I mean, probably almost every mentor that I've listened to, Jim Rohn talked about this. What you think about, expand. And folks, this is really, really serious. I hope you take me seriously here. If you're thinking every day of the struggle that you're in, and I know you don't want that, but that's all you think about. Your life is like a menu. What you look at is most likely what you will be ordering. And that's what you will be having on the table, and that's what you will be eating. You made the decision. And I know it sounds simplistic, and you don't understand. Trust me, I do understand. I wrote a book on it. We wrote a book on it. Okay. I understand thinking negative.
Yeah.
I was about to say I could write a book on it. I wrote a book. We wrote a book on it. Negativity is a cancer. What I tell you is, don't tell yourself lies. This is not what I'm telling you. Find a way to overcome the challenge that you're faced with every day. You're overwhelmed with work, but the income is not coming in. Or because of the COVID restrictions, clients are not coming in. And you have all these bills piling up, and you're waiting on the government to, whatever it is that you have their mercy, to give you what it is you need to be able to buffer that issue that you're dealing with. Don't focus your thoughts on that every day. Focus on exactly what you desire, what you want. For example, I'm in my way to earn $100,000 this year. I'm in my way to earn 100,000. Not say I'm going to make 100,000 or no. I'm not saying for you to lie to yourself. These are goals, and imagine yourself. And the moment that some of you start shifting this thinking process and start, you will notice, mark my words, and please let Tammy and I know when that happens, because I know it'll happen for those of you that are doing it. people will start coming into your life. Name will pop up. A phone call will come in. An email will be sent to you with a certain interest on something that will lead you towards your goal. It is amazing the world that we have before us. I like to say the creator created an incredible mind that is very, very powerful, that we constantly undermine and underestimate. Start with the end in mind, as if you have achieved it. See yourself recruiting a net 20 people, or 5 people, or 10 people. If you have a team of 10 people or 100 people on your team, imagine if 10% of them get 5 to 10 people. Could you imagine? Of course, the Joe CEO is calling me now, or CEO. I'm sorry, Joe. I'll call you a little later. I apologize. So what's happening here, folks, is you need to focus with the end in mind and think positive. Don't focus all your energy on what is not. This is something that Tammy and I have learned. And Tammy, you remember I used to say, for me to succeed, I got to bleed. And I bled.
When I first met you, you were saying it all the time.
Oh
my gosh.
I was so frustrated.
Yeah,
God,
and he literally, he went through so many challenges because he said that if, for me to succeed, I need to bleed. So he called it in. And I think we all do that. Often we don't even pay attention to what we say. And then somebody lets us know what we're saying. And then you have to change that pattern. But set your goal, whatever it is. I mean, a lot of people want to make $100,000 a year. That's a pretty good number to have a good life in Canada. So Chris always puts that number out there because that's the number that a lot of people want. And I don't know if you know, but a huge percentage of women, I think it was 72% of women who actually make $100,000 a year plus do it through network marketing or direct sales. So set a goal. Even if you don't believe that you can do it right now, set it anyways. Put intentions out there. And as you start growing and developing skills and working on your mindset, see, every day I set my mindset the moment I wake up. I know what I want to achieve. And if I don't achieve it at the end of the day, I don't beat myself up. I'm going to go for it again tomorrow. I'm going to keep going and going and going until I get it. And that's why everything I put on my vision board, Chris is always laughing at me every time I say I want something. He says, put it on your vision board, because he knows me. I'm going to get it. It's because when you can see it and you become emotionally attached to it and you have a true passion for helping people, everything you put out there will come back to you tenfold. So put out lots of amazing things in your life and start watching all the great contacts that are going to literally show up on somebody that's going to text you, which happened to me today. It was, and you know what? This lady, she also commented on when I did my 3. What are the 3 things that you can think of, 3 words you can think of when you think of me? She contacted me. I had 3 other people that also connected with me that I mentioned that, and all these things will come to you when you least expect it. It all starts with intention first, emotionally attachment to that intention of what you desire to be, do, and have in your life, and start putting pictures of it. Look at it every single day and just get to work and do your numbers. And I'm telling you, wonderful things are going to come your way. That's how we've attracted it over the years.
Now, thank you, Tammy. The last link that I posted there, I just brought back the GoPro recruiting challenge. And that's where earlier I was hesitating because I realized I put the wrong link here. Originally, I put the virtual gopro.com/max. This is the virtual convention. So make sure that you are registered for the free GoPro recruiting challenge. If you see there's an upsell, I think it's around $49. You can, if you're not interested, you can decline and just go through the process. If you want, it's entirely up to you. Okay, but you do need to be part of this and make sure your downline is part of it also. The other thing is the virtual GoPro convention. This one here is a bit more expensive. That's $295. Okay, Eric is spending $20 million for that event. And it's like a stage. Let me see if I can upload a file here and from the computer so you can get an idea of what this looks like. I'm going to put it right here and upload it. Here we go. Okay, you can check it out. I just put the link here for you to have an idea of what this looks like. It's basically a stage, and you see all these monitors. Well, he's spending $20 million in putting this together. So I know he's spending a dime to do all of this, right? So the reality here, folks, is there's going to be an enormous amount of knowledge and information to help you grow. If you can't afford it, get a group of people. Now, remember, in Ontario, I know that we can't have more than 6 people. So just be careful with that, please. And also be safe. So I want you to be responsible, right? It's like don't drive and drink or drink and drive. You know what I mean by this. The fact here is that invite a few people and share the cost of the event. Now, you'll notice that when you click on that link, there's a /max. Now, Ann Turnbull has organized this event for, not, let me rephrase that. She's been part of the GoPro for a long time. And she's been talking to me about it for a period of time and traveling around the world. I just don't have time to go to events just because every time there's the events, we're either in the Philippines or in West Africa. Every single time for the past, honestly, 10 years. That's what we've been doing. Now we're home and now the event is virtual. So I recommend, if you can afford it, register for it. And this will get all the max people together. If you register outside of that, you'll be part of the event, but you won't be with the max group. Okay, so that's why I decided to promote Ann's link to make sure that we're all together, that it is in Africa or in the Philippines, or that it is in Ontario, that it is in the United States, New York, Florida, wherever you're located. Sorry if I didn't mention your state or your province or city. Whatever you are from, if you're in Max, click that link, and that way we're all going to be in the same room. We can collaborate and exchange and so forth. Okay, so that again is up to you. This is going to be December 3rd, I believe. December, I don't have the details in front of me here, Tammy. Here, let me click on the link.
The 11th and 12th?
It's 3
11,
days.
12, and 13.
Okay,
11,
12,
13.
13. Yeah.
Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. So the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th, okay? And I really, really recommend, that's right, December 11, 12, and 13th. And this is going to be a phenomenal event. This is going to be all over the world. People from all walks of life will be there. And in fact, you're probably going to meet some of them at the free recruiting event that he's hosting for you to get a feel for the kind of information that you're going to get. And there's also a lot of big names and big players like Les.
I know sometimes, you know, when times are tough, it might seem like a lot of money, but I can tell you what you'll get from that and who you'll become from that will be worth so much more than what it's going to cost you to do this. And I know it, and I can easily say it from my own experience of who I became in the years of building this business, from going to events like this. And it costs us thousands of dollars. Simply, you're always staying at really high-end hotels, and you know you're eating out 3 meals a day, and it becomes very, very costly. So Eric is going to be able to get so many people on this virtual session because the cost is not all that much when you think about it. You're in the comfort of your own home, no hotels, no flights, no nothing.
I know Las Vegas is a fun place to visit and you turn it into a bit of a vacation. And that's usually why people will spend the money to go to. But trust me, you'll spend more than $295. You'll be more than $1,000 and plus, right? When you add the flights and everything else. So we really hope that you guys are understanding the importance of being part of events. And I can tell you that a lot of members from all over the world, and some are having a hard time because the financial situation is not easy, but they find a way to collaborate. And then at that point, they're able to get a group of people and attend the event at whatever place that they agreed to be there and share the cost of the event. So that's what we have for you this evening. Again, we want to thank you for taking the time and really kind of participate